listening to Europe's #1 pro wrestling podcast.
Set no substitutes.
Bringing you the best in pro wrestling interviews, news, and opinions with Mr. Stevie Knight.
Hello, welcome. It is seconds away. It's night time. One of my favourite rehashed interviews today. When I say rehashed, it's because we tried this show about 18 months ago, and I got about 7 episodes in, and then I had a new little baby boy, and everything went a bit crazy, and I just didn't have the time to do it, but things are settled down now, and we are definitely ready to go, and we're going to try and make Seconds Away It's Night Time a very successful podcast. Hopefully, with your help, we can do that. Your help would be much appreciated. Click the subscribe button if you are enjoying listening to this. Click the subscribe button and leave me a review on iTunes. That would be absolutely brilliant. It gives me a chance to get in the new and noteworthy section and really kick things off. It's a very niche market, the British wrestling market, although becoming very, very popular now. So hopefully we are getting in on the ground floor with this, and things are going to go from good to British wrestling to even better from now on. Things are definitely looking very, very good. So don't forget, please, go on there, leave me a review and click the subscribe button. If you want to get in contact, nightpodcast@gmail.com. On the Twitter, it is Night Podcast, and on Facebook, Seconds Away, It's Nighttime. There's like buttons on all of those things, so click the like button, the follow button, whatever it may be, please. Today's rewind, let's say, interview is one of my definite favourites. I think definitely the funniest one we did. This is with Rowdy Ricky Knight, who was and still is one of the most famous wrestlers in the UK, of course, a massive wrestling family, but now his daughter, certainly the most famous of the bunch, WWE ladies absolute superstar, Paige. It's just absolutely amazing what Paige has done, and I think you could make a case that she is probably the biggest British wrestling star of the last 20 years. I think she's right up there. She's main eventing Raw when I'm recording this. She main evented Raw just a couple of nights ago. Absolutely just amazing. I remember her playing in the ring, messing about in the ring when she was, 4 or 5 years old. So to see where she is now, beautiful young lady and doing so well for herself. Obviously, we talk about Paige, we talk about her family, we talk about Roy, we talk about Zach, the Hooligans, and so many more things, including some absolutely hilarious stories from Ricky Knight. He's a hard fella, he's a tough fella, they're a tough family, but they're absolutely lovely and genuine. If you're on the right side of them, they're your best friends. If you're on the wrong side of them, then woe betide. Also, I'm going to be having Julia, who is Ricky Knight's wife, Sweet Saraya, also a very, very well-known female wrestler. She's going to be coming up on the show very soon. So sit back, enjoy, and laugh. This is Ricky Knight.
How long have you been in the wrestling business for now, Ricky?
Well, I'll get on 30 years,
30 years. I mean, let's just digress this, because no doubt I'll start calling you Paddy, because I've known you for 20 years.
Yeah,
so Paddy, right. real name is Paddy.
Yeah, real name is Paddy, yeah.
If I start calling you Paddy, people will wonder what's going on.
I'll let the friends call me Paddy, and you're my mate.
Yeah.
Your family, and you're a knight, aren't you?
Well, I am a knight, yes, a distant cousin.
That's right, yeah.
If there's anything you don't want to talk about, Paddy, just mention it when I asked you, and I'll cut it out.
Yeah, so, mate, no problem.
All right.
I've got nothing I don't really want to talk about.
I figured you wouldn't have, so yeah, that's all right. Now, Paddy, if it's fair to say, you are a pretty hard fella. You've had a pretty rough life.
Yeah.
Tell us about your childhood growing up.
Well, I grew up in a family. There's 15 of us. My mother brought up, and she also had my old nan there. She's lifted in and out of bed, so it was a tough old existence, and we had to have a roll call every morning, 2 or 3 sittings for breakfast and stuff like that. And we always had to earn our own coin. Mum never gave us nothing. Like, it was always, if you want something, you got to earn it, and if you want anything, you just had to go and find a way of earning it. Paper rounds, log rounds, everything. So. Everything we had in life we had to earn, which now, looking back, is good. But then, as I said, I sort of started hanging about with the wrong people and getting in gangs and stuff like that. And my early life was just basically in and out of jail, to be fair.
And can you tell us some of the things you was in and out of jail for?
Well, everything, mostly on the football terraces, armed robberies. I mean, I was a nightmare, to be fair. I've done, in all honesty, mate, I've done about 8 years before I was 25 years old.
Really?
In and out of institutions, ball stools, prisons, and basically being a pain in everyone's arse, you know what I mean?
So when was the first time you went off to Borstal? What age were you?
First time I went away I was about 16, and that was a punch up at the football match and stuff like this, and they give me, well, it was a 3-month detention centre. That was down in Oxford in Killington. That was rough, I can tell you. You got kicked around from morning to night time, and that's my first time. And then I've done 3 Borstals, and I got prisons and everything. And I was just generally always in and out of trouble, running with the gangs and stuff.
It's a thing that obviously not a lot of people have experienced. I mean, have you seen the film Scum?
I have, yeah.
Would you say, because I mean that would have been the same kind of time period that you?
That's a pretty accurate thing about. Funny enough, the other one, believe it or not, that was the comedy. Is Porridge. I know it's just comedy, but the cells were like that. Was in there, the 3 beds in a cell, the old grey horrible colours, and the bowl, the washing and that, and the old pot, the weeing, and I always say to my wife, that is how it was when I was there. I know it's all changed now, you get the TV and the cells and whatever, but that's how it was when I was young, So, that and Porridge is a good guideline how it was when I was young. So
it's pretty fair to say you was definitely heading down the wrong path.
Well, yeah, I always said, it's no secret, I've put it down many times. I hadn't met my wife, Sweet Saraya Julia, as you know. I think I'd rather been doing life in prison or I'd have been dead myself. I was going down that road. I was going down the road of, I'd come from being a football thug up to running the doors, the same, all the old salt chestnut, running with the gangs, and running with one of my mates who was a proper gangster, you know what I mean? So I've done the whole 9 yards before I met my wife,
And now wrestling, where does this become involved? Now, I don't know if this is a true story, but this is a story that I've heard many, many times, that you was working on the door, and this is where wrestling became involved in your life. That's
right. It was. I was working in a place you probably know, King's Lynn. I mean, that was a tough old territory. At the time, I was running all the doors around Norfolk and running all the dodgy clubs and stuff, and I had my own agency, and King's Lynn was a real handful. I mean, a real place, but you earned your money. Well, this particular night, these group of lads come to the door, and we had the iron bars on it. It was full security, and they said, "Can we come in?" And it was a rough old mop. So I said, "Look, mate, this is a members' club and stuff like this." Trying to put them off, and they go, "Look, we're wrestlers from, we just done a wrestle down the Corn Exchange in King's Lynn." So I said to my other doorman, "Look, these guys are fighting, man, ain't going to cause trouble in here. Let them in." So I let them in, and within 2 minutes, this guy come walking up to me and was talking to him, and it was Jimmy Ocean, big name lightweight in them days. Got up to me and started talking to me about everything else. He got to wrestling, so I never thought about it. And I said, "Well, no." So I always enjoyed it as a kid. Went and watched everyone else like Potter's Bar and places like that. And went and watched it, but I'd never thought about doing it for a living and stuff. And I got on really well with him. It was the first time I met him in my life. And about 2 weeks later, I went round a friend in Norwich and just for a cup of tea, really. And I walked in, who sat on his settee was Jimmy Ocean. And I said, "Look, I met you in the club the other night." He said, "Yeah." He said, "This is where I'm lodging." And I thought, well, that's a small world. And then he said to me, "Look, I'm going wrestling training now. Do you want to give it a go?" So I said, "Yeah, I'll come down, see how I get on." And we went down there, and Jimmy spent an hour or two with me. He said, "Look, you've got natural ability for this job, mate, if you wanted to do it." So I was at a loss because I've always played football, I've always done everything else, and I said I'd give it a go, and I did, and the rest is pretty much history, really.
Now, Jimmy Ocean, a lot of modern fans perhaps not know his name too well. Now, I know, obviously, you know. Fantastic. I mean, absolutely awesome
he's
work.
Right up there with the Johnny Kids, the Johnny Saints, and he's right up there with them. He's one hell of a fantastic worker, and he's never ever got the credit he deserves, in my opinion.
Really, really didn't. He was a bit of a terror outside the ring, though, wasn't he, Paddy?
He was. I mean, he was very hard to get on with. I'm not. He's like a little bro to me. And I've had problems with him, but but he was hard to get on with. He's one of them guys, he pretty much, people didn't know how to take, you know what I mean, because he was only 5'8", but he got the full broken nose, the collie hair, it really is a legit hard little bugger, you know what I mean, and he said it how it was. He never hid nothing. Most of the guys going to room, as shake your hand and stab you in the back at the same time. But Jimmy would always tell people straight how it was. If he didn't want to talk to him, he said, I don't want to talk to you and stuff like that. So he wasn't the most popular guy in the circuit, to be fair. You know what I mean? But as I said, he was like a little bro to me, and I always loved him to bits personally. Yeah,
supremely talented guy. Used to scare the shit out of me. Absolutely scare the shit out of me. In fact, the very first live wrestling that I ever saw, the very first match I ever saw, was Jimmy Ocean, and he had a pair of pink cycling shorts on, and he stood out to me like a sore thumb. And the first wrestlers I ever approached, and I think you probably remember this, was you and Jimmy was stood at the bar at the Memorial Hall in Cleethorpes. This was when I was about 14 years old. Yeah. And I was stood staring at you, and I think you do remember this, don't you?
I do remember it like yesterday.
Yeah, and I was stood staring at you, and you said, you can come and talk to us, lad, we don't bite. And I remember that, again, like it was yesterday. So,
right.
we go back a few years, buddy,
definitely, yeah. I remember the first day you met us on that holiday camp as well. And you started rolling about the ring and stuff with us, yeah.
I do.
And backstage, when you were still doing tapes, I believe, or something. You done
tapes, and photography and everything.
I've still got that somewhere, that tape. I've still got one of those tapes,
yeah. So. Oh, it used to scare the shit out of me because Jimmy, like you say, Jimmy was this polarising figure that everyone was scared of. Oh, yeah. And he said, who's going to get in the ring with me? And I jumped at the chance to go in the ring with him. Yeah. And you said to me, you've got some balls, lad. And because I was keen to learn at the time. So, great times. Absolutely fantastic times. So, I mean, obviously after this, you and Jimmy teamed up as the Superflies. Where did the name come from? Is it obvious?
That's another story, really, because Jimmy... he went up to Leeds to work for Max and stuff, and while I was still working for the local promoter, and I said to them, my then first wife, I said, I think I'll have a change of hairstyle, to change a gimmick. So I went down to the hairdresser, and he'd done me the slick skunk style with a blonde at the top, black at the sides. So I hadn't seen Jimmy for 3 or 4 months, so I've been on the phone, but we never mentioned about this, having my hair done this way. And he was at King's Lynn Saturday for Brian Dixon, so was I. So I said, I'll see you there, bud. So I get there Saturday, walk the door, it's like looking in the mirror. Jimmy had the same done in Leeds. But we didn't know each other were going to have it done. So I went, bloody hell, Jimmy. So it's amazing. He said, it's amazing. Well, at that time, Brian Dixon walks the door, went, bloody hell, a tag team. So he goes to Superflies, because at the time I was known as Superfly Ricky Knight. Right. He went to Superflies. So anyway, we didn't think much of it. And after the show, Jimmy went, Brian, are you serious about the tag team? And he went, bloody hell, yeah. So Jimmy said, right, we'll go out and spend some money, and we'll come back to you when you're ready, which is what we've done. And we went back, and we became very colourful and outrageous, and we took it back to Brian, and he loved it. And to be fair, I've got to give Brian his dues. He was the one who created the Superflies. He's the one who pushed the Superflies. He's the one who sort of made us what we were.
I mean, you was literally out 7 nights a week for Brian, wasn't you?
That's right. Yeah. I mean, Brian was our main man. He's our main promoter. And, at the time, Brian's head was really in the game. And we had some great tag teams around the time. Ben and McCoy, and Task Force 1, the Kilbys. There's so many teams doing the circuit at that time. Obviously the Liverpool lads were our nemesis, and it was just a great time for tag wrestling, and... It was great to be a part of it. It really was, and the division used to draw crowds in them days. When you put the tag on them days, it used to draw. That was a top of the bill thing, and it drew everywhere.
I remember going to the shows, and you guys were always on, and like you say, it was a draw, and the Superflies were very, very popular. And you added a manager. What year would it have been you added your manager then?
It's about 1990 we met Jules, right. And. She became our manager. I mean, to be fair, she done all the dirty work first. She come in the hard way. We're on the holiday camp circuit. You know yourself, it's a hard old job. In her days, you got up to 20 a week. So she was doing the cooking, the ironing, and washing all the gear and keeping us going. And this went on for about a year. And then one day, Jimmy went